Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes weekly webisode. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today from our friends at Hunkydory Crafts, you guys, I have a fantastic collection. This is Build-a-Bouquet. This is an 8x8 die-cut pad of all these little blossoms and flowers. I'm going to show you how to shape them and put them on cards. These are beautiful little printed card images. They're 6x6. They look like this, and then you get to decorate them with the flowers. And then this is a little foam pad that we use our little stylus tools on to shape the flowers. You guys, this is what I'm talking about. So fun. Everything is here. I just added some ink and some dazzles. I had the best time. I can't wait to show you. This is our giveaway card for this episode, so stick around. You'll learn how one lucky viewer can win this card to keep or share with a friend. So come play with us. All right, so for this 8x8 die cut pad of flowers, there's colored ones and then there's also white ones that are meant for like ink me and stuff like that. So let's take a look. You're getting over 1,300 die cut elements, okay? So look at all these. These are like, they're a light cardstock weight, I would describe that as. And you're getting 1, 2, 3 sheets of each of these, and they just pop right out. I'm going to show you in more detail right now. We're just looking at colors. So all the yellows, and then all the oranges and peaches, and the blues, and the purples. And then kind of a periwinkle. I mean, these are like kind of a blue, but also kind of a purple. So I'm going to say they're kind of a periwinkle color. And pinks. And more yellows. And then kind of a mix of the peaches and the oranges. And then we're just repeating, okay? Till we get to the very back. Where does it start? Here we go. Oops. And then these are all white ones. So you can do some inking on these, and I'm going to show you all about doing that. All right, so here's one that I already started using. And I'm going to show you, once we get started here, how I punch these out, how I layer them, how I ink them. We're going to have a great time with that. Now, here are these little Build-a-Bouquet 6x6 card fronts. You're getting 12 gold foiled, 12 silver foiled, and 12 black. Okay, so what I mean by that is, oops. All right, so here's the same image in silver, the gold one. Here we go. Here's the gold. Okay. Same image with 3 different finishes on it. All right. It's so cool. So I'm going to try to go through here and just know that they're in 3 different finishes for all of them. I'm just going to try to hit all the different patterns. So beautiful stems for a beautiful little field. And at the top of the stems is where you're going to be putting your little flowers that you've made. Here's a beautiful little bouquet. Okay, here's the one I showed you in the opening. It's a little garland. Here's, this one looks so funny. This one's a little jar, and then you're gonna build a bouquet on the top of it. Here is this wreath shape, this heart shape. And then, have I missed any? Are we repeating? I think I got them all. Should have organized those better, but yep, we got them all. All right, so let's talk about this one. So for this one, you guys, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card. I covered my card, well, first of all, I cut my card down because it was 5 by 6.5. I cut it down to 6 inches tall. And then that was strictly because I wanted it covered with my 6 by 6 gingham. Okay, this is gingham number 2, and I use this sort of teal color right here. It's lovely because it has this little micro gingham, and then on the other side it's got the big gingham. And covered the card with that, and then I took this heart and I just cut it down so that it would be more rectangular than square. So it is 4.5 inches wide, and then it's still 6 inches. Let me see. Oh. That's interesting. These are actually to go on a 6 by 6 card. They're not 6 by 6. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. So These are 5.5, which is actually great because then you're not having to trim them down when you want to put them on a 6x6 card. That makes sense. So these are actually 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches square, okay? Oh, clear that up, Lene. All right, and so I cut that down, inked the edges with some hot pink ink, okay? Use your favorite applicator tool. I found using daubers to color the flowers was really handy. Okay, and then I just basically punched out a lot of the little pink ones, okay? And if we go to this pad, you'll recall that the pink, there's several different shades of pink. So I took some of the dark ones, some of the light ones, and then I just inked them all using my dauber with the hot pink, okay? And just on the edges of each one, went really quickly, and then went ahead and just got the green leaves, didn't ink those at all. Now on this little heart, I took a tri-blend marker. Okay, this is in light green. And if you're not familiar with tri-blend markers, they're 3 pens in one. So there's like this color green, which is light. I'm going to start with the dark. This is this dark green. Then there's a mid or medium green, like that. And then the light green, like this. So if you go back over it again, it gives you a really nice gradation of color. So what I did was I started off with the medium, and I wanted to color this, give this wreath some color. So I just kind of went over it like this. I wasn't even trying to follow the lines of it, just like this and like that. It gave it some color without trying to color it in, okay? And then I just layered my little pieces up one by one and then gave them a little bit of shape. So let's try that right now, actually. I'm going to take some of these pink ones. Go. I thought I already had one out. I got to find the one I was working on. I got them mixed up. Is this my used one? Come on, Lene. Yes. All right, here we go. So let's do this medium kind of pink color, this one, and then I'm getting the same shapes of flowers, and I'm trying to do that in like small, medium, large. So let's just do this one too. This one's a different shape, but it's gonna go on the top. All right, so then you can take your little dauber. I can find one. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take my little dauber with some little pink. Just putting some just on the edges like this. And it's just going to go really quickly. We're just looking for a little contrast. And then this last one, so cute. All right, that's that. All right, and then these little stylist flower shaping tools, okay? They all come like this in a set of 3, okay? And all this is listed down below the video if you're watching us on paperwishes.com on our webisode page. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hi, subscribe, it really helps our little business. And if you're watching us there, just look below the video in the description box and you'll see a link that'll take you to this Paper Wishes webisode page. And after I'm done shaping this, remind me, I'm going to tell you how to win this card. Okay, so I like to turn them over so they're upside down. And I'm going to take kind of a larger tool here, and you're just like stirring it like this, kind of going all the way out the petals. So it's now concave like that. And then I take a smaller one and just go to the center like this. So do you see how they're doing that now? Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're going to go like this and go very, very quickly, and then like this. And then this one, I'm just going to go like that on. And then we're going to take a little of our Cosmic Shimmer glue. I also found that using Cosmic Shimmer in these small bottles is really nice with this project as well. That way you're not getting things too gluey. So I'm just going to really try to do this very carefully. And you're just going to layer them, and then having them offset so that they're not lined up like that. Offset means doing this. And then you're going to take this smaller stylus and you're going to just tap it just like that. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing with this one. You're going to put this right there, and then you're just going to tap it like that. Now, when it's all done, before it's completely set up, if you want to get a lot of dimension, go to the very tiny little stylus, and then set that there and just push down. Just give it a firm pressure. Okay, and it's going to give you a little bit more dimension because it's pushed everything down. And then I took these are our red pearl caviar beads, okay? They're first of all super fun to just sit here and play with, okay? Make sure they're always zip-locked. It's a disaster if you don't. And then my tip for this is, if you're going to hand deliver a card with these caviar beads on it, you can just glue them on using Cosmic Shimmer glue. They stay very nicely, okay? If you're going to mail it, we recommend you're using something like E6000, which we also sell down below. It's hard, it's going to be just like concrete when you're done. They're not going to go anywhere, okay? So how we like to do this is to take a toothpick, or if you've forgotten a toothpick, you could use your stylus like this. And we're just going to put a little glob of this, okay, just like that on our stylus tool. Actually, this is a pokey tool. And somebody asked me, what are those pokey tools really called? And I'm like, they're really called. I'm just putting a little bit right there, and then just take a little tissue or something and then just wipe off your pokey tool if you use that. All right, so then we're gonna take now a beading tray is really nice so they just don't fly everywhere, but of course I forgot to grab one. And you're just gonna sprinkle a couple of these in here. And then you're going to use your little pokey tool or your toothpick, just push them into that glue. And it's really important that they get stuck down into it. And that's it. Okay, so it's secure. Let that dry for a couple of hours before you put it in an envelope so it's not sticky. And they're really gonna stay on. They will make it to your destination. So back to this. So then I went ahead, I just used Cosmic Shimmer glue to just put a little bit of glue just right there, just a dot. Here, I'm just going to show you. This is how much glue. A dot of glue. And then you're going to take it and place it just like that so that it's kind of standing up a little bit. And then once you've put those down here and here, then I went ahead and took my green leaves, put some glue on the end of each of the leaves. And then you're just going to, now with these, I do recall I did shape them a little bit. These I just went like that. So they're just a little bit curved. And then you're just taking a little bit of glue here. And then you're just tucking it right under. That's all you're doing. And you're just letting it dry for some dimension, okay? That's all there is to that. And then I added some beautiful little pearl dazzle stickers, so cute. These are butterfly dazzles, put those there. And then I forgot to grab this. This is Sending Smiles dazzle stickers, and they come in black, gold, several different colors. And I use the black ones here, and then I use the little flowers that are with this, and I added some little flowers. No, that's not true. Now that I think about it, the Sending Smiles, I used our little tiny gold flowers for this, which I also forgot. So I'll list both of those down below the video. So those are nice to add in with those little things. All right, so there's that first, oh yeah. I have so much more to show you. I'm so excited, so I've got to settle down here. So this is how we work our giveaway cards if you're new to our channel. 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday webisodes, I like to give away a card from the webisode. And how that works is we ask that you go to our Paper Wishes YouTube channel, and that you subscribe and that you like and give us a thumbs up and then leave us a comment. And then you've got to know your YouTube username, which is shown on the comment that you leave. And then after about a week, we will go back and reply, congratulations, YouTube username, one person's username. And we tell them how they can claim their card. And so there's just one winner for each of those 3 videos on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it's a good idea to hit the notification bell so you know when we drop a video and that you can participate in our giveaway. And that's also how we announce it. So definitely check that out. All right, moving on. Okay, so here's a 6x6 one. You'd think I would have figured out the math on these sizes if this is a 6x6 card, but I didn't. So this one, you guys, so cute. I matted this with a little bit of gold cardstock, right? And then inked the edges of this one before gluing it to that gold cardstock with some teal ink. And then I took a little, here it is, my Post-it note. I took a Post-it note when coloring this right here. Took that same teal, used one of the little daubers, and put a little teal on that, and then I just took my Post-it note and then went ahead and added it here and moved it around so that I didn't get that teal ink around here. Same with the center here. I just kind of moved it around and colored this with some tiger orange. Okay, it looks nice and peach. So then for the flowers, you guys, I went over to these orange ones that we had. Okay, and then I used that tiger orange, did the exact same technique that I showed you before with coloring the edges just for a little bit of contrast, using the daubers, shaping them with the tools, adding in the beads, but this time I used gold pearl caviar and did the same thing with gluing those in, and just a touch of glue adding them to the ends of these stems, and then a little bit of gingham ribbon in the orange. I thought was so cute. Then finally, you guys, I added a little greeting here, and this is from the We're Together Dazzle stickers, which is one of my favorite. They come in all these different finishes. There's actually 2 directions that they come in. So in this one package, you get all of these colors, brown, silver, gold, white, and they go more vertical and then they go more horizontal, which is really nice if you have a space that you're trying to fit. So I added just hello there. All right. So yeah, also did I mention I used teal ink around the outside edge? Okay. So for this one, you guys, use the blue ones for happy birthday. Here we go. For this one, I used a different center on my flowers. I used our new yellow Jewel Dazzle stickers, and then I just used our little jewel picker. It's like the jumbo jewel picker to just lift these up, and just either used 1 or a little cluster of 3 right here. So for here, I used also that light green tri-blend marker for coloring the stems and the leaves. I used a yellow marker here for the bow. Inked the edges once again using teal ink, and then just colored a little bit on these flowers with the teal ink as well. These are a little bit flatter, like I didn't use a stylus on these. Just gluing them together was nice. And then covered my card first. Well, actually I didn't cover it. I just took strips of this turquoise Miri cardstock and added a strip at the top of my 5 by 6.5 inch card, strip at the bottom. Took my 5 by 5 printed paper and just glued it across the center. Then one of these yellow straight line border dazzle stickers just to cover up that seam between the Miri and the paper. Yeah, really easy. And then just did my coloring. Added another one of those script greeting dazzle stickers. Did you know they come in black? So if you didn't want to buy the whole set, we have them in just black. There's 3 of them in a set. We have them in orange, we have them in red, green, brown, blue. So yeah, if you're looking for a particular color, we probably have it. Yeah, but that was a really fun one. All right, so now to do something different with these, this is what I did with the white ones. So this is a Slimline tent fold card. So this is, I think 8 1/4, yep, 8 8¼ inches long, and then it's almost 4 inches wide. And I wanted to show you how I did this one. I took this garland piece, all right, and I wanted to extend this so that it was longer. So how did I do that? I took another one, so we had 2 of these, and I cut them both out, just made them a little bit narrower here. So I cut it down from the 5x5 to, these are 2 and 7/8 inch wide, okay, and still 5½ inches long. Then I colored them, still with that light green marker. And how I did that was I just took a little bit of the dark, a little bit of the medium, and then I just finished each petal off with the light, and then just blended that out. I just doing that. Did that all the way across. Now I took my card and I covered this card using 12x12 Unexpected Beauty, okay, patterned cardstock. But once again, because I was super excited to bring you these fun items, I grabbed, just realizing this just now, the 6x6. No, it's 12x12. And I used this pink kind of brick paper that was right here, covered my Slimline card. Then I took this one and I put it right here. And then I took this one and I put it right here. See how it just kind of goes like that, extending that. And then I had this little seam right there. I just covered it with flowers. So that was my little trick on that one. So once I did that, glued this down, I used the white flowers and I colored them and then misted them with water. Before I show you that, I want to show you how I did this distressed gold on the edges of this. So I used fab foil in gold, okay, and then just took a strip of that and just added it to the edge of the card. But because I don't have another card, we'll just use one of these. And now you could use glue stick for this. You could also use Cosmic Shimmer for this, whatever kind of glue. And I just put it on my fingertip because I want a really thin line amount of it. And I'm just going to put it across the edge of the card, just like this. All right, it's just making it tacky. Try a little bit more. And it's just going to air dry for just a couple, like seconds. The thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry. Like that. And then I just cut a little bit of this fab foil off. I'm going to start at the thinner end. And I just took my fingertip and I just went right over that tacky glue. And look at that. It just comes off in sort of a distressed looking manner. And I'm just going to put it like that. And you, like I said, you could use glue stick with this. If you use something like extra sticky tape, it is a little bit more perfect of a line. It almost looks like a dazzle sticker. I wanted something that looked distressed like this. So there we go. And then I added some script greeting dazzle stickers that we used before in the gold. And the center of my flower, I used a white jewel dazzle sticker. Let's talk about how I did these flowers. So the first thing I took was all of these little flowers. They kind of have a distressed look about them. So I'm going to need my little craft pad and my hot pink ink, and then I also used khaki ink for the leaves. I used teal, and then I also used warm honey. Okay, so let's make these. Let's see, let's make them teal. And I just used the surface of my ink pad, just like this. Just went over them. Go. And then you want a little bit of a mist of water. So I have our little empty water bottle misting tool filled with clean water. And then you're just going to mist them from about 6 inches away. Now, when you mist them straight with water like that, it's going to make the color blend out a little bit. But then I like to take some on my hand and just drop some water on there in sort of big chunks. And that's going to give you those water drops that show on there. Here we go. And then you'll see here, it's like sort of disrupting that ink color. And it's sort of giving it, breaking that ink up a little bit, right? So then, once you're at this point, I did the same thing with all 3 of those colors and then the khaki. And then you just need to let them dry. And then we're just going to shape them in the exact same way that we did before. Turn them over. And then a little bit in the center. And then the center. And then this one's an entirely different shape. So we're just going to go like this. That. And then the leaf. Just want to take the bigger end and just give it a little curve like that. And then when you're stacking these up, once again, you just want to make sure the petals are offset, and you can mix all of your flower shapes. You don't have to keep the same shape every time. That. And then once that dried, I went ahead and just added one of these little white Jewel Dazzle stickers to the center. And then the leaves just go tucked under like we did before, just like that. It gives you a completely different look using these solid white ones. Okay, you guys, I gave you a lot of ideas. So I think you can see these are super fun to play with. I think it's fun to just take some and sort of mass make them while you're just sitting in front of the TV and just do all of your little curving with your stylus and things, glue them together. And then leave the centers out maybe so that you can do that at the time of using them. And you can kind of personalize them. So once you get, the ones that you want to have made, then you just can take them from your craft stash and you're like, oh, I'm going to have dazzles on these, or I want to have beads on these. So that was my take on it. I had so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Don't forget, we have a money saver right there. We have all the supplies listed down below. It would be great if you would leave us a comment on our website page and also on YouTube. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think about it, subscribe, and don't forget to participate in our card giveaway. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.